Yo, what's going on, guys? Calvin here. Just want to share with you guys my Ancient Warriors deck. So let's begin with the best normal summon in the deck. 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Mu. By far your best starter card because he does something going first and second. Its effect states that you can send 1 card from your hand to field to the graveyard, add 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except for himself. Second effect states that upon resolution of an Ancient Warriors monster effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, bounce back to the hand, okay? So, best normal summon. Like I said, does something going for a second. You want to maximize this card at 3 because you want to see this card as often as possible. All right. Next, the other starter card, but better going second, and even then that's debatable, is Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Zhuang. The reason why I say it's debatable is because if your opponent only controls 1 monster and you summon this card, you can't activate this effect. All right, that's terrible. Right, because you can only activate this effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do. Come on, man. What's going on with that? Anyways, if your opponent does happen to control more monsters than you do, you can send 1 card from your hand to field to graveyard, special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck, except for himself. No level restriction, so he's good in that regard. His second effect is if your other Ancient Warriors monster attacks, you can draw 1 card. Alright, so 3 copies. He's a wind type. A wind type is required to go into our link 2, which is very important. Alright, so next up, 2 copies of Ancient Warriors Ingenious Zug Kong. This card states that this card is added from your deck to your hand by an Ancient Warriors card, whether it be Sun Mu or 3 visits, you can special summon this card from your hand. Alright, so he's a free extender, he's a free body, okay? He also serves as spell and trap negate, as well as a monster effect negate. Both conditions require you to control an Ancient Warriors spell and trap card, but for the monster negate, it requires you to control Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Zhuang. Okay, you must send in both instances. You must send the Ancient Warriors spell and trap card from your field to the graveyard, not from your hand. It has to be from the field. So make sure if you keep them up with Lu Zhuang, make sure you also have up an Ancient Warriors spell and trap card. Okay, so 2 copies of this card. Because like I said, if you have 1 copy and you sadly drew into it, no free body for you. Okay, so 2 copies. Next, because we're going second build, 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Loyal Guan Yun. This card is he's kind of weird because he might conflict with Lu Zhuang. He says that if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Only if your opponent controls a monster. It's terrible. Alright. His continuous effect is your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warrior monsters with card effects except for this card. And his last effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So I only run him in here because you shouldn't be having a monster going second. And he's also wind attribute, so you need a wind beast warrior to go into your link 2. Which is the reason why I run 3. The newest addition to the deck, 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Rebellious Lu Feng. This card is absolutely bonkers. I see some decks run them at 2. I don't know what you're doing. This card needs to be ran at 3, okay? As long as you control an Ancient Warriors monster on the field with the highest attack, which, let's be honest, that's easily doable. Because who else is playing Ancient Warriors? This card summons itself for free, okay? Once per turn, during the main phase, you can destroy the monster with the highest attack on your opponent's side of the field, non-targeted. Not a hard once per turn as well. So if you have 2 copies of this card, 3 copies of this card, you're getting 3 pops in that 1 main phase. Alright, so 3 copies of this card, absolutely mandatory. I don't know why you would run 2. He's a free body. He's 2800. He's an extender. Come on, guys. 3 copies. For my 1-ups, you got Zhang Dai. You got Zhang Yuan. And then you have Cao Day. Alright, this card I might think about cutting out because he's not that great in my opinion. But I run him in there just, because he's an extra buy in the battle phase. Valen Zhang Dai, he's mana 1 because he's easily searchable and he's a hard once per turn in terms of his special summoning. So what he basically does is if you control 2 Ancient Warriors monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. The second effect isn't gonna be really relevant because it only says if your opponent controls more monster than you do, You can activate this effect. This monster can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase, so you can't even attack directly, which is terrible. But like I said, he's a wind type, so that's the reason, why I run him. You could use him to go into your double dragon lords. Okay, Zhang Yuan, I might bump this guy up to 2 because at the start of damage step, if your ancient warrior monster Bowser and opponents face a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, that monster loses 1,000 attack. That's big. That's huge. All right. So, once that happens, chances are that opponent's monster is dying. Right. So, if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls is destroyed. This can occur during the damage step. That's nutty. That's crazy. So I might bump this card up to 2, but sadly it's a hard one to return. So we'll see. All right. And this card is just a free body. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard. So summon this card. Other than that, if this card destroys a monster by battle, you can summon this card back to your field in defense mode. He's like a Goyo Guardian, but he's only right here because he's 3K and he's a big beefy boy. That's about it. So that's it for the Ancient Warriors monsters. Last, we got 3 copies of Alpha, the Master Beast. This is my Alpha Dragoon. You can run Kaijus if you want to, run whatever. These are 3 filler spots. Okay. On to Spell and Traps. 3 Pot of Extravagances. Without a doubt, this is an OTK deck. You want to see your board breakers. You want to see your Sun Mu. You want to see your Lu Zhuang. Alright, so definitely 3 copies of this card. The only card that you are afraid of losing is just your Link 2 and a Borolo Dragon and a Dweller if you're going first. That's about it. But definitely 3 copies. You want to draw into it. You don't want to run Prosperity because, like I said, this is an OTK deck. You're gonna get all your damage halved. That's not good. That's not good for business. So I'm gonna run pots instead. All right. More search cards. 3 tankies. This is self-explanatory. They're all Beast Warriors. All right. So let's get that search going. Let's get to Sun Mu. Let's get to Lu Zhuang. 3 Tensus. This deck is very, very, very normal summon reliant. Okay. So once that normal summon gets negated, it's over for you. You're passing turn. You're scooping. All right. So I run 3 Tensus because I could say maybe normal summon with this effect Lu Zhuang, and that could just from a normal summon. If I happen to brick with Zhu Kong, I could just summon that card as a normal summon, and now I have a Spell and Trap negate as long as I have another Ancient Warrior Spell and Trap on the field. But this card also serves as, I guess, material fodder, sudden fodder for Lu Zhuang and Double Dragon Lords and Sun Mu. So it's up to you guys. You guys can cut this card out, but it's working out for me, so I'm gonna keep it. Ancient Warrior cards, Spell and Trap cards, Ancient Warrior Saga, 3 visits. This card must be ran at 3. Okay, so because during the main phase, if you normal or special summon an Ancient Warriors card, you can target that card, add 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck to your hand with a different name than that card. All right. So this will get you to the remaining pieces, get you to Lu Bu, get you to Zhang Dai, get you to Zhang Yuan, whoever. All right, Zhu Kong, whatever. Okay, so definitely run them at 3. Second effect is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your hand. So that's actually pretty good, right? It works extremely well with Lu Zhuang and Sun Mu. So 3 copies. Next, Ancient Warrior Saga, East by South Winds. This card is your you can't respond to me card. All right. So during the main phase, you can do a coin flip. If it lands on heads, it gets sent to the graveyard. Once it hits the grave, you can activate this effect. Your opponent cannot respond to your Ancient Warriors monster effect activations, to your Spell and Trap card activations, nothing. They can't respond to your activation, period. Your effects, period. All right? So, it's absolutely insane. Okay? The second effect is all Ancient Warrior monsters you currently control gain this effect. And it's when this card declares an attack, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So, it doesn't target, right? And your opponent can't respond to it. That's crazy. That's nutty. So definitely do copies. It's also not even once per turn. Not once per turn. So if you have multiple copies of these, you could just spam them. So 3 copies of these. Because I'm broke and I don't got Forbidden Droplets, I run Forbidden Chalice instead, okay? Definitely run Droplets if you have the Droplets. Droplets works extremely well with this deck because it sends the cards from your field or hand to the graveyard. Pretty great, all right? But I run Chalice, just to, I don't know, negate something or boost up my Lubu by an extra 400, whatever, so I don't lose them to, your opponent's side of the field, whatever it is, but... you can run impermanence if you want, but I can't chain imperm if I, activate Pot of Extravagance, so I'd rather have this card. And last, the Board Breaker, Lightning Storm, okay? Back row absolutely wrecks his deck. You want to get rid of back row. If you don't got back row, fine. Better in the gate. Definitely run 3 copies of these cards, okay? So that's it for the main deck. 40 cards in the main. On to the extra deck. Arguably the most important card in the extra deck. You got to run 3 copies of Ancient Warriors of Double Dragon Lords, okay? So he requires 2 Beast Warrior monsters, including a Win Ancient Warriors monster. That's the reason why I run so many, wins, right? Lord Guan Yun, Zhu Kong, and Lu Zhuang, and Zhang Dei. You gotta find a way to get into this guy. All right, so on summon, continuous effect, or Ancient Warrior monster cards you control gain 500 attack and defense. On summon, you can search an Ancient Warriors card from your deck to your hand. Doesn't have to be a monster, it can be Summon Trap. The second effect is you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, and bounce it back to the hand. All right, it's a quick effect too, so it's absolutely crazy. 3 copies of this card for show, Mando. Next, I run 1 copy of Farragut. Farragut, I could use my alpha and say, I don't know, what's his name? Guan Yu and go to this guy. This guy gets me free special summon from my hand. Level 4, a lower Beast Warrior if I don't want to use the normal summon, or I already used normal summon. So, that's the reason why she's in here. The rest of these cards don't really matter. Link Kuribo, doesn't matter. It could be whatever you want. Cerberus could be whatever you want. Phoenix does kind of matter. Phoenix is a really good card. Unicorn matters too. It's a really good card. And Borolo definitely matters because there are certain monsters this deck can't really out. Like Dragoon. Like Avermax. So this card outs all those cards because it just steals it. Okay. So that's it for the links. I got the 1 Elder Entity enters here. Just in case those dogmatic players think they're cute, they want to send Activate Maximus and then, just pop them, whatever, force them to gate, whatever. But if you don't want to run this card, it's fine. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you. For my XZs, got 1 Dweller. I run Dweller because Sun Mu plus Zhu Kong gives me a 2200 Dweller. Why not? Castell's in here to bounce back Mega Clops. As a Town Knight, doesn't really matter. Like I said, it could be whatever you want. Tornado Dragon and Baguska, these guys don't really matter. They could be whatever you want. Okay, so that's it for my deck. There's no side deck, and let me tell you why. Well, side deck could be whatever you want it to be, but I think there are certain cards we should add, that you should add, that I have in my side, and that is cards like Skill Drain, cards like Summon Limit, Imperial Order. And the reason why is because those are continuous, right? So now you're probably wondering, well, if they're continuous, don't they hurt you? Don't they hurt you too? The answer is no, because on your turn you can just send them for cost, and your cards will still trigger. So definitely run cards like Crackdown, Summon Limit, Imperial Order, Skill Drain. Make sure your opponent can't play, but you can play, because your Ancient Warrior cards, your starter cards, Sun Mu and Lu Zhuang, they send for cost, as well as the Link 2. They send for cost. So definitely 100% run those oppressive cards. All right, so that's it for my deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think of my deck. Comment down below if you guys have any questions or suggestions, and peace out.